Hey, thanks for joining me today. We're taking a look at the uniqueness of the person of Jesus today on Catholic Breakfast. What is Catholicism all about? Well, it's all about Jesus Christ. It centers around Him. He's the center of everything in the mystery that we call Catholicism. You know, episode 1 of the Catholicism series lays this out so well. In fact, it's called Amazed and Afraid, the revelation of God become man. So I'd encourage you to take a look at this. Let me just say a few things about it. The name of this episode comes from the Gospel of Mark, which we hear this kind of disturbing line in which, as the disciples follow Jesus, St. Mark tells us they were amazed and afraid. Now, those two words describe how people act in the presence of God. It's in the very mystery of Jesus' identity, who He is, not just as a man from Nazareth, but as the Son of God sent by the Father. And in the coming together of those two natures is the whole mystery which begins Catholicism. This episode describes that as a sacred jest. Why? What's a joke? Well, it's the coming together of two seemingly incompatible elements. The other thing I think is really helpful to see in this episode is that the uniqueness of Jesus reaches its climax in the great work that He comes to do, the work of His cross and resurrection. And He does this precisely as a new David. You know, we say Jesus Christ, right? Christ wasn't His last name. If you drove by His house in Nazareth, it didn't say, Mr. and Mrs. Christ. Probably Jesus was called Jesus Bar Joseph, right? The son of Joseph. Christ means the anointed one. It means a new David. Now, this understanding gets us deep into history. It gets us deep into the Old Testament. Jesus cannot be understood simply as God come down from heaven, but as God come down from heaven in the context of a people called Israel, who is long expecting a new David to do very specific things. As you watch the episode, keep track of what the job description of the new David is. I think finally in this episode, you'll start to see what should become more important later on in the series, which is that in Jesus we see revealed the truth of the human being, but also the truth of God. What is really well called the non-competitive nature of God. That God is such that He can become one of His creatures without ceasing to be God. And what does that say about us? There's something about the human being which has a capacity to be united to God without ceasing to be fully human. So I hope you'll enjoy watching this episode as the center of what Catholicism is all about. Jesus, true God and true man, the new David, who reveals to us the non-competitive God.